Hi and welcome everybody. Today I want to talk to you about 10 of the most different activities that we have on offer in the top end of the Northern Territory. The top end of the NT includes Darwin, Kakadu, Arnhem Land, Katherine and the Tiwi Islands as you can see here in the map. The top end has two seasons, the dry and the tropical summer. The tropical summer is from November to April, and it's when weather is similar to that of Asia. It's hot and it's humid, and there are tropical storms, but it's also when waterfalls and wildlife really come alive in places such as Kakadu National Park. In the dry, from May to October, temperatures can range from 21 to 32 degrees. Humidity is low and there's little rain, so the days are sunny and the nights are mild, and it makes it a really lovely time to visit. So, to kick things off with the 10 most different activities, we'll start with the beautiful outdoor rock art galleries in the Kakadu National Park. There are two places of interest, Obia and Norlangi. Obeah is a 30-minute drive north of Jabiru, which is the main town in Kakadu. This is where you'll find an amazing range of rock art, which includes pictures of turtles and fish, goanna, and most importantly, there's a picture of a Tasmanian tiger, which became extinct on the mainland about 2,000 years ago. So this shows you the age of the rock art, and this collection is considered to be one of the best in the world. At Obeah, there's a 1K circular walking track. It's an easy walk and it is accessible, so prams and wheelchairs can use the track. There's also 360-degree views of Arnhem Land and the Nandab floodplains from the lookout. However, the lookout is a steep 250-metre climb, so it's not accessible to everybody. The walk takes around an hour, and during the dry season, Parks Australia offer free guided ranger talks. Norlangi is another really important site for rock art. It's a 30-minute drive south of Jabiru and has a range of walking tracks, lookouts, and really interesting wildlife, which includes a number of species found there that you can't find anywhere else on the planet. Like Obeah, Parks Australia also run guided walks and talks throughout the dry season. Both are a must do, especially when in Kakadu National Park. So the second is the yellow water billabong. That's in the Kakadu National Park as well, and it's full of native flora and fauna, and it's right in the heart of Kakadu National Park. It's located near a small settlement called Coanda, and you would have heard of Coanda Lodge, which is a popular accommodation in this area. The billabong is accessible all year round with a cruise, like we can see in the photo here. And in the dry season, when the waters have receded, you can follow a 2.6K return walk to a viewing platform. And the boardwalk to the platform has some incredible views of the wildlife, including some impressive saltwater crocodiles, as well as wild horses and buffalo. So Kakadu Tourism run tours at Yellow Water, and they start from $79 for an adult. The Warrajon Cultural Centre is close by, which has been developed by the local Aboriginal people and has great information about the culture in this area. And it also has art and weaving demonstrations at the centre and a really great gift shop where you can buy local products. Airboating is also another really cool and different way to discover the NT's waterways. Airboats have a flat bottom and they are powered by a large fan propeller, so it means that they can cruise through shallow water. We have two operators in the Northern Territory who run tours. The first is Wildlands Wetland Safari Cruises, and this is a photo of them here on the Mary River. So they are based about 90 minutes out of Darwin, which is about the halfway mark between Darwin and Kakadu National Park. So on their tour, they'll take visitors to the Corroboree Billabong and the Mary River wetlands. And this is where visitors will see saltwater crocodiles and then a really interesting range of bird species. They also have vast stands of lotus flowers, which are surrounded by the large lily pads. So it is a really beautiful sight. Their tours run in the dry season from April to October and start at $195 an adult. And they also offer a standard boat cruise as well for about $40 per adult. A bit closer to Darwin is Matt Wright's Darwin Airboat Tours, which run on the Darwin Harbour. And they take in the city's scenic mangroves and they cruise along the mud flats. And visitors can look out for crocodiles, sharks, and even stingrays while cruising on the harbour. So these tours run all year round, and the 1 hour tour costs $165 per adult. So airboating can also be really easily packaged up with other activities such as a scenic flight or a heli fishing experience. And our two helicopter operators, Airborne Solutions and Nautilus Aviation, can arrange these. So crocodiles, well, love them or hate them, we have them in the NT. They aren't something that you want to get too up close and personal with, but there are several ways that you can meet these locals from a safe distance. I've already mentioned the Bullabong cruises in Kakadu National Park, which are run by Kakadu Tourism, and there is another operator called the Kakadu Cultural Tours who run the Galam Cultural Cruise, and that's down the East Alligator River in Kakadu. So this tour includes a visit to Arnhem Land for a display of traditional hunting techniques and costs $79 per adults. And these run during the dry season from May to November. There are two operators that run on the Adelaide River, which is about 1 hour from Darwin. And the first is the spectacular Jumping Croc Cruise, as you can see in this image here, who run a 1 hour cruise. They check out the local crocs in the area and they also feed them to encourage them to jump up, as you can see here. They have some really entertaining commentary about the crocodile biology and behaviours and their value in the ecosystem, along with everything else that you need to know about crocodiles. So these cruises cost around $50 per adult. There's also another operator called the Original Adelaide River Jumping Croc Cruise who offer a similar cruise for a similar price. A bit closer to home, there is the Crocodilus Park and Zoo, which is a 15-minute drive from Darwin City, and it's a really great option for families. They offer croc feeding and croc jumping tours, and they have reptile handling opportunities throughout the day amongst a huge range of other animals in the zoo. The tickets there are $40 per adult. And the last but not least is Crocosaurus Cove. I'm sure you've all heard about it in the Cage of Death. Visitors get to swim with a 5 metre croc, so it's not for the faint hearted. And if this isn't your client's cup of tea, then there's a whole range of other activities on offer there, which includes holding a baby croc or fishing for crocs, a croc feeding show, as well as the their reptile house. So they are located right in the heart of Darwin, and entry is $36 per adult. For the Cage of Death, it is $175 per adult. And also just to note that lots of the NT operators package up crocodile experiences as part of a day tour. So it's a really great way for visitors to see a lot of what is on offer in the NT in a short space of time. So the Heli Pub Crawl. If you think flying from pub to pub sounds like something for the rich and famous, well, in the NT, anyone can do it. The Heli Pub Crawl visits some of the NT's quirkiest pubs, including the Lodge at Dundee Beach, Crab Claw Island Resort, Darwin River Tavern, Goat Island Lodge, and the Noonabar Tavern. It takes around 7 hours and is possibly one of the most unique but very fun tours in the NT. We have two operators that run these tours, Airborne Solutions and Nautilus Aviation, and both will offer variations to this, and that can include less pubs and fishing and waterfall stopovers. And these start from about $795 per adult. So turtle tours. On the turtle tour, you'll be able to spend the late afternoon travelling out to Bear Sand Island to visit the nesting grounds of the flatback and olive ridley turtles. Sea Darwin run these tours, which take place on the full and new moons, which is the best time to be seeing the turtles nesting. So it's a truly unique tour, and the group sizes are capped at 12 to add to the experience. The tour includes a guided walk to witness the turtles egg laying ritual, and some visitors are lucky enough to see the baby turtles hatching and making their way out to sea. The guides have plenty of knowledge about the island's history and about the habitat, and the tour also includes dinner and, of course, a stunning NT sunset. So everyone is back in Darwin on this tour by about midnight. So this tour, which I think is worth every penny, costs $295 per adult. So, the World War II history in the Northern Territory. During World War II, Darwin was a strategic military base, which made it the target by the Japanese, and more than 60 air raids took place between the 19th of February 1942 and November 1943. So, interestingly, during the war, more bombs fell on Darwin than they did at Pearl Harbor. For those of you who have seen the movie Australia, this is based on the events that took place on the 19th of February 1942. So, as a result of this, there are plenty of interesting places to visit and learn about the war, including underground oil tunnels, gun emplacements, and explosive storage areas. And there are several tour options to learn more about the war. The Royal Flying Doctor Service Facility in Darwin has a great virtual reality experience, which includes bombs falling and sinking ships at Stokes Hill Wharf, and there's some ghostly holograms eerily telling stories about the everyday people during the bombing of Darwin. So some of the operators who offer World War II tours are Sea Darwin that I just mentioned, who also do the turtles, and they have a frontline World War II tour. It's a half-day tour which visits sea and land sites. That's $119 per adult. And they also do a bombing of Darwin cruise, which is a 1 hour cruise taking in the historic landmarks along the coast, and that's $45 per adult. Wallaroo Tours offer a Battle of Australia tour, and that's a full day comprehensive tour about the World War II attacks. That's $249 per adult. And they also offer a Darwin City Explorer tour, which is a 5 hour tour, and it takes in elements of the war history, and that's $125 per adult. So, number 8 on our list is the Katherine Hot Springs. They're located on the outskirts of Katherine, and there are 6 pools in total, as you can see here in the photo. So the locals actually use one of the longer pools for swimming their laps. The water is crystal clear, and the natural minerals in the water are said to have healing properties for aches and pains. Entry is free, and so it's a really great option to add this into an itinerary for your clients if they are discovering the Catherine Gorge. The pools are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but they are closed during the tropical summer. And there's also hot springs at Douglas, which is about 2 hours north of Katherine. And there is also the Mataranka Hot Springs, which are just over an hour south of Katherine. Number 9 is the Katakana Caves. If you're visiting Katherine, a visit to the Katakana Caves is a must. So they're a limestone cave, and you'll see here this amazing display of stalactites and stalagmites, which are the long stems, the long pointy stems in the image here. You'll also be lucky enough to see some different species of bats, and that includes the rare ghost and leaf-nosed bats. And you can also spot the very harmless brown tree snake while you're in the Katakata Caves. So they are only accessible by a guided tour, and Nipmulluk Tours run tours here between April and October, and they cost $27 per adult. And last but not least is about meeting the locals at an Outback pub. So if you do the Heli Pub Crawl, you'll visit some of the quirkier pubs that I mentioned earlier, and that includes the Lodge of Dundee, the Crab Claw Island Resort, which has a resident croc called Casey, the Darwin River Tavern, the Goat Island Lodge, and the Noonamar Tavern. But the NT really is full of quirky pubs, and just a few more to note are the historic Daily Waters pub, which is in the image here. So it's stood the test of time since 1930s, and it's been one of the original favourite Outback pubs, and it's located right in the middle of Whoop Whoop. So it is 3 hours south of Katherine and 9 hours north of Alice Springs. The Adelaide River Inn is just over an hour south of Darwin. It's an old style country pub bursting with history, and at one end of the bar you'll find Charlie, who is the buffalo made famous in the Crocodile Dundee movie. The Humpty Doo Hotel is a favourite pit stop for many who are en route to or from the Kakadu National Park, as it's just 30 minutes out of Darwin. This typical Aussie pub is famous for its trio burger, which is a mixture of barramundi, buffalo, and crocodile for a true taste of the territory. And the last but not least is the Cox Country Club. So that might sound a bit fancier than what it is, but it's located at Wagap Beach, which is a short ferry ride across from Darwin. This territory-styled country club is open air and often has bands playing. Sealink Ferry offer a lunch and dinner cruise to the country club, which costs $50 per adult. So this wraps up my 10 most interesting and different experiences in the top end. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions about the Northern Territory, please get in touch. My contact details are on the screen. And if you haven't joined the NT Train Training Program yet, please do so at our website so you can be kept up to date with what's happening in the Northern Territory. Thanks very much. See you soon.